What if I told you that rebuilding muscle after 60 could start with something as delicious and simple as cheese? That creamy, flavorful slice you've always enjoyed might actually hold more power than you think, especially when it comes to reversing one of aging's most overlooked conditions, sarcopenia. Most people have never even heard of it. Yet it quietly robs millions of older adults of their strength, mobility, and independence. Sarcopenia is the age-related loss of muscle mass and function. It doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in slowly, and by the time it's noticeable, when climbing stairs becomes harder or lifting groceries feels heavier, it's already well underway. This is not just about physical appearance or athletic performance. Sarcopenia increases the risk of falls, fractures, hospitalization, and even premature death. And what's most surprising, it's not inevitable. In fact, what we eat plays a central role in how quickly or slowly this muscle loss occurs. Now we all know that staying active is important as we age, but nutrition is the other half of the equation that doesn't get nearly enough attention. Our muscles are hungry for the right kinds of fuel, especially as we get older, and certain foods, particularly the right kinds of cheese, are uniquely equipped to feed that muscle tissue. Most people think of cheese as just a source of calcium or fat, but some cheeses contain bioactive peptides, high-quality protein, vitamin K2, and even natural anti-inflammatory compounds. These nutrients do more than just support general health. They act directly on muscle fibers, support bone density, regulate hormones like insulin and IGF-1, and help reduce the silent inflammation that often underlies age-related decline. Imagine eating something that not only tastes good but also sends signals to your body to build rather than break down. This is what functional foods do, and certain cheeses fall directly into that category. When chosen carefully, they can become therapeutic tools in your everyday diet. There's a big difference between eating empty calories and choosing foods that speak the same language as your body's regenerative systems. As we age, our ability to synthesize protein becomes less efficient. That means we need not just more protein, but better quality protein. And the amino acid profile found in some aged cheeses rivals that of traditional muscle-building foods like eggs or lean meats. It's not just about quantity, but bioavailability, the body's ability to actually absorb and use those nutrients effectively. Sarcopenia is also linked to changes in the gut microbiome, hormone balance, and chronic inflammation. The right cheeses can touch all three of these areas. For example, some fermented cheeses support healthy gut bacteria, which in turn influence how nutrients are absorbed and how inflammation is regulated. Others provide forms of vitamin D and calcium that are better absorbed when paired with fat, something naturally present in cheese. And vitamin K2, which is abundant in certain age varieties, directs calcium to the bones and away from arteries, reducing the risk of osteoporosis and heart disease at the same time. So while most people wouldn't think twice about skipping cheese in favor of low-fat foods, the real science tells a different story. It tells us that when chosen wisely, cheese isn't something to avoid, it's something to embrace, especially after 60. Picture this. You're in your early 60s, still feeling active, maybe taking daily walks or lifting grocery bags with ease. Then, slowly, almost imperceptibly, things begin to change. You notice it takes a little more effort to stand up from a chair. The stairs you once climbed without thinking now leave you a bit winded. Maybe your balance feels off when you're getting dressed or walking across a slippery floor. You brush it off. Maybe you just need a better night's sleep, or perhaps it's the weather. But beneath the surface, something more serious could be unfolding. This quiet creeping change is what doctors call sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is the gradual progressive loss of muscle mass and strength that occurs as we age. And the most alarming part, it starts much earlier than most people realize, often in your 40s or 50s, and gains momentum after 60. Unlike a broken bone or a sudden illness, sarcopenia doesn't announce itself with pain or clear symptoms. It's silent. At first it might just be harder to open a jar or carry a suitcase. Over time though, it can make everyday activities like walking, cooking, or even getting out of bed a real challenge. One of the scariest consequences of sarcopenia is how it increases the risk of falls. As leg muscles weaken, balance and coordination suffer. That's why one small trip on the carpet or a wet bathroom tile can result in a serious injury. Hip fractures in particular are a major concern. They often lead to long recovery times, loss of independence, or worse. And while many people think falls are just bad luck, the reality is that weakened muscles are often the root cause. But sarcopenia isn't just about strength and balance, it has a much deeper impact on how our entire body functions. Muscles are metabolically active tissue, which means they play a huge role in how we burn calories and regulate blood sugar. As muscle mass decreases, metabolism slows down. This is one reason why people over 60 often gain weight, even if they're eating the same amount of food as before. It also means that excess glucose in the blood isn't used efficiently, increasing the risk of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Many older adults chalk these changes up to aging. But the truth is sarcopenia is a condition in its own right, and it's more common than you think. Millions of people are affected, yet most don't even know it has a name. That's because it doesn't feel like a disease. It feels like normal aging, but it's not. And that misunderstanding can be costly. By the time someone realizes their strength is slipping, they may have already lost a significant amount of muscle. The good news is that muscle loss is not irreversible. The body is remarkably adaptable even in our later years. But first it takes awareness. Recognizing sarcopenia for what it is, a treatable condition, can be the turning point, because once you understand the problem, you can take action through movement, and just as importantly, through smart nutrition choices that send your body the message to rebuild rather than decline. Imagine eating something that not only satisfies your taste buds, but also quietly goes to work inside your body, repairing, rebuilding, and protecting your muscles from the effects of aging. This is where the idea of cheese as medicine becomes more than just a catchy phrase. Certain cheeses, when chosen wisely, aren't just snacks or comfort food, they're functional foods. They provide the kind of nourishment that communicates directly with your body's natural ability to grow and maintain muscle tissue, especially after 60. One of the key players in this story is leucine. It's an essential amino acid, meaning your body can't make it on its own. You have to get it from food. Leucine is a powerful signal for muscle growth. It flips on the switch for a process called muscle protein synthesis, which is how your body builds new muscle. As we age, that switch becomes harder to flip. The older body becomes less responsive to protein alone, which is why high leucine foods become especially important. Certain aged cheeses such as Parmesan and Gyri are naturally high in leucine. Just a small serving can deliver enough of this amino acid to support muscle repair and regeneration. But it doesn't stop at leucine. Cheese is also one of the richest dietary sources of calcium, critical not only for bones but for the way muscles contract and relax. Every time you move, whether you're lifting a cup of tea or going for a walk, calcium is playing a role in that movement. Muscles depend on calcium to function properly, and consistent intake from food is more effective and better absorbed than from supplements. Some cheeses, especially those made from whole milk and aged for flavor, offer highly bioavailable forms of calcium that the body can absorb and use efficiently. Then there's the gut connection. You may not think of your microbiome when you eat cheese, but your gut health influences almost every system in the body, including how well you absorb nutrients, manage inflammation and recover from physical activity. Fermented cheeses like Gouda, blue cheese and aged cheddar contain probiotics, beneficial bacteria that support a balanced gut microbiome. A healthy gut improves digestion and nutrient absorption, which means the body is more equipped to use the protein, vitamins and minerals in your food to rebuild tissue, including muscle. These probiotics also play a role in calming systemic inflammation, which is often elevated in older adults and contributes to muscle breakdown over time. And then there's vitamin K2. One of the most overlooked nutrients when it comes to aging well. Found abundantly in certain fermented cheeses, vitamin K2 helps direct calcium to where it's needed, mostly your bones and muscles. It prevents calcium from being deposited in arteries and joints, and instead supports the structural tissues that keep you upright, balanced and strong. It also helps regulate proteins that are involved in muscle repair and mitochondrial function. The tiny power plants inside your cells that fuel energy and recovery. Together these components, leucine, calcium, probiotics, and vitamin K2, form a nutrient network that supports muscle health from multiple angles. When delivered through something as accessible and enjoyable as cheese, this becomes not just science but a practical, delicious daily strategy for staying strong after 60. Cottage cheese often flies under the radar. It's not flashy, it's not trendy, and it rarely makes headlines, but when it comes to rebuilding and maintaining muscle after 60, it quietly stands out as one of the most powerful tools in the refrigerator. What makes it special is the unique combination of slow-digesting protein, muscle, activating amino acids, and digestive-friendly probiotics, all packed into a soft, creamy food that's easy to enjoy at any time of day. One of cottage cheese's standout features is its high content of casein protein. Unlike whey, which digests quickly, casein breaks down slowly, releasing a steady stream of amino acids into the bloodstream over several hours. This is especially helpful for older adults whose muscles benefit from a more sustained source of fuel. That slow trickle of amino acids helps prevent muscle breakdown during the day, and even overnight when the body is resting and repairing. This makes cottage cheese an ideal food to include with breakfast, or even as an evening snack. Cottage cheese is also naturally rich in leucine, one of the most important amino acids for triggering muscle protein synthesis. It's like pressing the on button for muscle repair. While many foods contain protein, not all deliver the specific amount of leucine needed to stimulate muscle growth in older adults. Just half a cup of cottage cheese can contain nearly 1 gram of leucine, an ideal dose to signal the body to start building tissue. For seniors whose muscles respond more sluggishly to protein, this makes cottage cheese a smart, efficient option. Another benefit is its digestibility. As people age, their appetite often decreases and digestion can become more sensitive. Cottage cheese is soft, easy to chew, and gentle on the stomach. The live cultures in many varieties can also support gut health. These probiotics encourage a more diverse microbiome, which can help reduce inflammation, support immunity, and improve nutrient absorption, all of which are essential for muscle maintenance and recovery. Consider this story of an older adult named Helen. She was 67, retired, and recently noticed her arms felt weaker when lifting her grandkids. She'd always been fairly active, but hadn't thought much about nutrition. Her doctor mentioned muscle loss as a normal part of aging, but Helen didn't want to just accept that. She began including a simple breakfast every morning, a small bowl of cottage cheese with sliced peaches and a sprinkle of flaxseed. Within a couple of months, she noticed more energy during her daily walks and even began doing light resistance training again, something she hadn't felt strong enough to do in years. Her progress didn't come from supplements or drastic diet changes, just consistent, smart nutrition that supported her goals. For many older adults, the biggest challenge isn't knowing what to eat. It's finding something simple, satisfying, and effective. Cottage cheese checks all the boxes. It fits easily into a morning routine, pairs well with both sweet and savory foods, and provides exactly what aging muscles crave. It's not just a food, it's a quiet ally in the fight against sarcopenia. Parmesan cheese may be best known as a finishing touch on pasta or salads, but what many people don't realize is that this flavorful aged cheese is one of the most concentrated sources of nutrients that support strength, stability, and independence, especially as we age. Just a small sprinkle delivers a nutritional punch that can support muscle health, protect bones, and even improve the way calcium works in the body. One of the most impressive qualities of Parmesan is its protein density. Because its age and moisture is reduced over time, Parmesan becomes highly concentrated in nutrients, particularly protein. Ounce for ounce, it contains significantly more protein than many other common cheeses. That means you don't need a large portion to get the muscle-supporting benefits. This is ideal for older adults who may not have a large appetite, or who are looking for practical ways to get more protein without having to eat large meals. A couple of tablespoons grated over roasted vegetables or added to eggs can easily deliver several grams of high-quality complete protein. And because Parmesan is also rich in leucine, it activates muscle-building pathways that are particularly important for counteracting age-related muscle loss. Parmesan also shines in its calcium content. Calcium isn't just for bones. It plays a key role in how muscles contract and relax. Without enough calcium, muscle performance declines and the risk of cramps or weakness increases. Just a small serving of Parmesan provides more than 300 mg of calcium, which is a significant portion of the daily recommended intake. The combination of calcium and protein in a single food makes it incredibly efficient for muscle support, especially in aging bodies, where both nutrients are often lacking. But perhaps one of the most overlooked benefits of Parmesan is its vitamin K2 content. During the aging process, vitamin K2 becomes essential for directing calcium to the right places in the body. It ensures that calcium ends up in bones and teeth where it belongs instead of accumulating in arteries or soft tissues where it can cause harm. Parmesan, especially when aged traditionally, contains significant levels of K2 due to the bacterial cultures used in the fermentation process. This nutrient plays a quiet but powerful role in supporting what's known as the bone-muscle unit. In other words, muscles and bones don't operate separately, they rely on each other. Strong bones provide a foundation for muscle attachment and movement. Strong muscles in turn stimulate bones to stay dense and resilient. For older adults, preserving this bone-muscle synergy is the key to maintaining independence. It's what allows you to walk without assistance, rise from a chair without effort, and carry out everyday tasks with ease. Parmesan can play a quiet but meaningful role in this equation. Its intense flavor means you don't need much. A little goes a long way, not just in taste, but in health impact. Used thoughtfully, it becomes more than just a garnish. It becomes a functional food that supports the strength and structure needed to thrive after 60. Ricotta is often seen as a delicate mild cheese used in lasagna or spooned into stuffed pasta, but its creamy texture hides a powerful nutritional profile that makes it especially valuable for muscle preservation as we age. What sets ricotta apart is that it's made from the leftover whey cheese production. That same whey is what athletes seek out in their post-workout recovery drinks, because it's fast-absorbing, rich in essential amino acids, and one of the most effective types of protein for stimulating muscle repair. For adults over 60, this makes ricotta incredibly useful. As the body ages, it becomes less efficient at utilizing protein to build and maintain muscle. So not only is it important to eat enough protein, it also matters what kind. Whey protein like that found naturally in ricotta contains all 9 essential amino acids in forms that are highly bioavailable. That means the body can digest and use them quickly, especially the amino acid leucine, which acts like a green light for muscle protein synthesis. Even a half-cup serving of ricotta delivers around 14 grams of protein, much of it from whey, making it a practical and delicious choice for older adults who want to support their muscles with minimal effort. Another benefit of ricotta is how easy it is on the digestive system. Its soft, smooth texture requires no chewing and very little stomach effort to process. This makes it a great option for seniors with reduced appetite, dental concerns, or sensitive digestion. For many, heavier meats or dense proteins may feel too rich or difficult to eat daily. Ricotta, on the other hand, can be incorporated gently into the day, added to breakfast, blended into smoothies, or used in savory dishes like stuffed vegetables or omelets. Ricotta is also naturally low in sodium, especially compared to cheeses, making it a heart-friendly option for those managing blood pressure. Contains modest amounts of calcium and vitamin A, which support bone health and immune function. And when paired with fiber-rich fruits or whole grains, it contributes to a balanced, nutrient-dense meal that doesn't spike blood sugar or weigh you down. Consider someone like David, a 72-year-old who enjoys gardening and staying active with his local walking group. He had always been relatively fit, but noticed that over the past year, lifting bags of soil, or even bending down to weed the garden became more tiring. At the suggestion of his physical therapist, he started adding a light strength routine twice a week, and began eating a morning bowl of ricotta mixed with blueberries and a touch of honey. Within a few weeks, he felt more stable on his feet and less fatigued after activity. What he experienced was the synergy between smart nutrition and movement, two powerful tools working together. Ricotta's versatility also makes it easy to keep in the rotation. Whether sweet or savory, warm or cold, it fits comfortably into daily meals. And for those focused on staying strong and mobile after 60, that ease of use is just as important as the nutrition it offers. Incorporating cheese into a daily routine to support muscle health after 60 doesn't have to be complicated. It just takes a little intention and the right approach. Because cheese is nutrient-dense, a small amount can deliver big benefits without going overboard on calories, fat or sodium. The key is choosing wisely and pairing it with other whole foods that complement its muscle-supporting nutrients. A general guide is about 1 to 2 ounces of cheese per day. That's roughly 2 to 4 tablespoons of grated Parmesan, a 2 cup of cottage cheese, or a third of a cup of ricotta. These modest portions are enough to provide meaningful amounts of protein, leucine, calcium, and vitamin K2, all while keeping fat and salt intake in balance. For most older adults, this fits comfortably into a meal or snack without the need to overhaul the whole diet. Timing can also make a difference. Muscles respond best to steady, consistent nourishment throughout the day, especially when paired with light physical activity. After a morning walk or gentle strength session, adding a source of protein helps the body shift into repair mode. Cottage cheese at breakfast with fruit and a few walnuts is one easy option. It's quick, filling, and keeps blood sugar stable. For lunch, a vegetable omelette with a spoonful of ricotta folded and adds creatinous and extra protein without feeling heavy. Ricotta also blends well into a smoothie with spinach, berries, and a scoop of oats for a nutrient-rich meal that supports muscle recovery. Later in the day, a sprinkle of Parmesan can elevate simple dishes like roasted broccoli, quinoa bowls, or whole grain pasta. It brings flavor and protein to the table without needing large amounts. Even a small baked sweet potato with steamed spinach and Parmesan is a comforting, satisfying dinner that supports bone and muscle synergy. To balance out fat and salt, it's helpful to think about volume and pairing. Cheese doesn't need to dominate the plate, it can be the enhancer. Combine it with fiber-rich vegetables, lean proteins like eggs or beans, and healthy fats like olive oil or avocado. These combinations help slow digestion, promote fullness, and optimize nutrient absorption. Drinking water and eating potassium-rich foods like leafy greens and bananas can also help balance out sodium naturally. Snacking can be another opportunity. Instead of crackers or chips, try sliced cucumber or bell peppers with a dollop of cottage cheese or ricotta. For a sweet twist, cottage cheese with pineapple or ricotta with cinnamon and apple slices can satisfy cravings while delivering protein. What matters most is consistency. Muscle loss doesn't happen in a day, and neither does rebuilding it. But with a little planning, these cheeses can be part of a daily routine that supports energy, strength and mobility well into the later years. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. And choosing foods that both nourish and delight makes that progress something to look forward to meal after meal.